How great would it be to get up close and personal with the beauty industry heroes we love and admire, and to ask them, how did you learn to do what you do? I'm Chris Baran, a hairstylist and educator for 40 plus years, and I'm inviting all our heroes to chat and share the secrets of their success. Well, welcome to one more week of Headcases. And, this week is really special for me because of my relationship with him and his family. And I almost feel a little uncle-ish to him right now. But I must tell you, he's one of the hottest young talents and entrepreneurs on the market now. He is 4 times, I believe it was 4 times, Australian Educator of the Year. Between him, his father, and the rest of the Tognini team, they brought enough hardware in nominations and win to fill a wall in Pick a Room. He has been the Male Hairdresser of the Year 3 times in a row, ambassador for Evo. He has developed, I love this, Joe Blow, BLOE, which is a line of hair loss prevention hair products for men. He is the co-owner of Tognini's Salon and Little Off the Top Salon in Brisbane, Australia. So let's get into this week's head case. Mr. Jules Tognini. Jules Tognini. My God, I can't tell you how excited I am this. Well, firstly, just welcome to Headcases. It's great to have you on.
Oh, mate, it's great to be here.
I think, well, it wasn't the last time, but I think that, not the last time that I've seen you, but the time before that, I think we were skiing on Whistler. And we had to cut it short because I fell and tore all the ligaments and tendons off my finger, and we had to spend the next day down in the operating rooms, etc. But listen, it was so great, and I did get to learn that the third thing is the thing that I'll learn. I'll pass out to everybody that's watching or listening right now. Is his dad, Benni Tognini, was up with us with we had the whole family skiing. When I had that, he figured we didn't have any real, how would you say, pain meds. So Benny made up Hellfires, which was vodka, triple sec, and God knows what other else we had in the house, all poured in a pan with ice cubes. And then I was drinking that, so I don't think I was too coherent by the time that they took me down to the hospital. But anyway.
Well, I won't lie. I was quite young then. It was probably before my drinking days, but I definitely learned a thing or two from Uncle Chris. I still have this thing in my head that every time I go to Canada now, I need to have a Caesar.
Yes, you do. Yes.
Jeez, you made my parents addicted to those, didn't you?
And for those of you that are...
We went chasing...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, we went chasing celery salt all over Canada to bring home to Australia because it's not a thing here. And is it Clamato juice?
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Well, finally, you get...
Things that don't exist here.
For people in from the States that are listening, it's a Caesar is like a Bloody Mary, except you use Clamato juice, which sounds disgusting because it's made with clam juice and tomatoes. It sounds disgusting, but it's wonderfully good. And but it's a big Canadian drink, and we can put it with beer. Well, I mean, we can put it with cornflakes too, but what the hell? Listen, mate, it is. I have to tell for the people how incredibly lovely this is for me. It's not the right word to use between two mates, but it is lovely because I've known this kid since he was just a wee toddler, and now he's really taken over the family industry. And I just remember you, but you didn't start off in hair. Like when you got out, you didn't go into hair straight away, did you?
Look, I think hanging out with Dad and all these crazy mates who I used to call uncles like yourself, it made you see so much of it that maybe there was something else more to see when I finished school. I was obsessed with film. I wanted to get into directing. I like the idea of acting, but I mumbled too much. I couldn't remember lines. I'm dyslexic. But I think being around it all the time made you look to other industries. And I actually fell into fashion for about 5 years. I ended up starting up a streetwear label. I did a lot of screen printing, taught myself how to sew. And it ended up doing fairly well. I think I picked up a few Australian fashion design awards, and I actually thought that was my set. That was my industry. I was going to be in fashion. And funny thing is, yes, obviously I'm hairdressing now and had so many great connects to it, but it definitely wasn't on my radar, mate. I won't lie to you.
But what pulled you out of, I mean, because the stuff that you created was phenomenal. I mean, I'm not blowing smoke here. I mean, it was edgy. It was cool. It was anti-establishment. I don't know if that's the right word. I don't even know what that is, but it was so damn cool. What pulled you out of that? What made it so that, okay, I'm not going to do that, but I'm jumping into hair now? What happened?
Oh, it's pretty easy. Like I loved fashion, and yeah, what we did, what's great? When you're young, you really don't give a shit what anyone else thinks about what you do, right? You just do it. You give it a crack. Everything was getting accolades. Things were selling. I was stocking into maybe 30 odd shops around Australia, a little bit into Asia and New Zealand. It started growing really quickly, and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like there was a period there where I did, I had white jeans done, and I used to grass stain them by rubbing them and sliding around in them in the backyard. And these things used to be grass stained jeans. And I remember I dropped them off to a store once, and they were like, you're having a laugh. You can't be serious. I'm like, watch them. He goes, what happens when they wash them? I go, read the tag, and it says rub on grass. And I was like, mate, as easy as that. And he goes, they won't sell. And he rang me 3 days later going, we've sold out. Can I get some more grass stained jeans? The shit we were doing was just really left field and out there. And I think definitely growing up around my father and around his mates like yourselves, you guys were doing some pretty bizarre stuff with hair. And I thought, maybe that's just how you do it. But the hairdressing thing came in. I think I cashed my chips with fashion. I went overseas for a year. I went surfing through South America for a year and came back broke and pretty much was like, I want to get back into fashion. But in the meantime, easy way out was, Dad, can I have a job, sweeping hair, making coffee, washing hair? And he said, you can have an apprenticeship. And I was like, oh, yeah, but I just want to just sweep some hair. He goes, yeah, you can have an apprenticeship. So he kind of sucked me in. He waited. I was 23 at the time. So he sucked me in. He waited. He played his cards right. And, mate, I did a year. The rules were, when I started my apprenticeship, and Benni, for the guys in the States who maybe don't know about Benni, but Benni is my dad. He's the most unbelievable hairdresser. But he's also a taskmaster. And he's trained, so many great Australian hairdressers and brought them up to the ranks. But he always felt like these people always left him. And he realized with me, he was like, I'm going to go hard on you. And I was like, why me? He goes, because you're my son. And doesn't matter whatever you do, I'll still have a connection to what you do. So he gave me an ultimatum where he was like, you can be an apprentice, you can live at home for free, I'll pay for your food, but I own you for the first year. You cannot quit. I don't want you to whinge. You come on the road with me, you stay back, you do training. And that first year was absolute hell. Absolute hell. Like, I really didn't enjoy hairdressing. I was a 23-year-old bloke. I used to dress up to be a janitor. I used to clean the toilets with toothbrushes and, do all the crappy jobs that no one wanted to do. The first year's never really too much about doing hair and more about, earning your stripes. But then I started doing hair towards the end of the year, and I started learning a lot more and getting into it a lot more, and realized I'd put a whole year into something that at the end of the first year, he came to me and goes, what will it be? And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, are we in or are we out? And I'm like, nah. I've worked too fucking hard to be out. I want to, and I think at that stage I was like, I was feeling like I wanted to prove myself a little bit, when you're a young buck and you want to get out there. And I was like, nah, sign me up. I'm in. So that's kind of where it all started.
What was it? What was it like with the other people around? Because, I mean, first of all, I don't know. There's many, many, many people here that know who Benni Tognini is, and some don't. But if you described him, and that came from a son's perspective, and I know the industry, and I know a lot of people in the industry, and I put him in the top 5 in the world. I don't think there's anybody that I know that is more creative than your father. Now, having said that, was there not? There was pressure, obviously, from him. But what kind of relationship did you have with the people that were working around you? Were you, oh, that's Benny's boy, and oh, he's going to get favors, or did he put the boots to you so bad they're going, oh, I'm glad that he's treating him different? What was that like?
Yeah, I got treated like shit at work. I think anyone who wanted to take anything out on Benny took it out on me. And I used to come and whinge to him and go, Dad, they're doing this. And he goes, get back to work. Get back to work. He never let me fight back. After a year, he goes, okay, you proved yourself now. You can step up. But he, I guess this is two ways as well. One, he obviously wanted me to be as good as I possibly could be. And he wanted me to love it. But I also... he has huge shoes to fill, right? And I maybe being young, and I had a bit of a chip on my shoulder, but like right now, I'd be very happy to be Benny Jr. But at the time, I did not want to be Benny Jr. I wanted to be the first Jules, not the next Benny. And the shoes that everyone thought I needed to fill, I wanted to wear different shoes. And that probably showed a little bit as I started getting into the industry a bit more and started trying to build my own name. We used to work for the same company. We were working for Matrix for a little bit together when we first started. And I purely got a job, I think. One, I was a bad smell around Benny and I was always there. But two, they started an apprenticeship program. And I think by giving me the job, Benny was always at my classes and always making sure that I wouldn't fail. So I think somewhere in there, they kind of got Benny for free if they paid me.
Smart.
Shit. Yeah, it worked really well.
For
they
them,
got 2 for 1 for a really shitty wage. But they did. They approached me and I told them I was going to leave at a certain point, and they were like, "We have really high hopes for you. We want to make you the next Benni Tognini." And that's when I was like, yeah. That's why I'm leaving. I think I need to go and stand on my own 2 feet. Fight my own battles, because right now I am getting everything that I want, and I wanted to, probably prove myself a little bit, but I wanted to be a bit different. So when we separated away from that, oh look, Benny's my idol. Like he's my mentor. We had a photo shoot together yesterday actually, and he assisted me, and he's the world's greatest assistant. He reads your mind when he does things, but I remember doing that for so many years for him. But we're still best mates. We still work a lot together. We run lots of ideas by each other. But you're right. Like you say, top 5. Everyone's always like, "Who's your idol?" And I'm like, "Oh, my dad." It sounds poxy, but the guy's incredible.
Well, he is. He has just. He has a mind that like few others, because I mean we've both watched him. You'll just give him a fiber. I remember doing a photo shoot with him, and I messed up my hand, and so he took, he said, I said, "Here's the stuff I've done this with before, and I had these braids, these things, whatever the hell I did with them. I just braided hair, and I messed up my hand, and then he said, well, what about this?" And he started just pulling, and I'm going, "What the hell are you doing?" He started pulling it apart. And I'm going, what? And that's what he does. He doesn't look at things like you do. And he would say, well, if you did that, what would happen if we tore it apart? What would happen if we burned it? What would happen if, and I think if more people in our industry got that, what would happen if, and said, screw it if it doesn't look good, you just learned something.
No, he questions everything to the point where sometimes when you're trying to just put in structure, it's really, really hard because he's not that person. And again, like yesterday, we're shooting a bunch of shots, not so much a collection, but shots for purpose for a bunch of brands, and we're doing a bit of a rebrand with the salon. And I've gone, here's the shot list. We need all these shots. We have a short amount of time when you get through all these shots. And there you go. Benny's off in the corner doing something completely off topic. It looks sick, by the way. And he's like, "How good is this?" I'm like, "Yeah, not what I need right now, mate. Just go back to the shot list." But incredible. I'm like, let's book another day, a creative shooting, mate, because it's good to see. And his mind's still there. It's almost coming back again harder because he's got a bit more time to think. So and I think, and going back to your question, like growing up, obviously having him, but the people around, like I had great people I worked with in my apprenticeship, but I also had the best, range of amazing uncles and aunties of the hairdressing world. People like yourself and, Sorbys, Errol Douglas, and all these great humans that you just go, these people, to me, I knew them before hairdressing. So I guess you're my mates, you weren't my idols. And then I realized how cool were my mates or my so-called uncles and aunties of the industry. I was like, oh my God. And it was great because it gave you an open door to a lot of things that it was then up to you to go. If you want to chase it up, then you go for it, mate. But the door's open, you know, you've got to step up if you really want to go and chase things as well. But nothing really gets handed to you on a plate unless you earn it, I feel.
And sometimes if you're put into it by family or whatever, it's almost, you got to work harder. I think you have to sometimes prove yourself that you've got to work even harder than if you wouldn't have had, well, God knows, God forbid, if you didn't have him as a father, but let's just say that somebody else that didn't have all of that stuff around that helped to develop your brain, you know, creatively, is what might have you been like, you know, and
I guess the only difference, okay, yes, here's my dad, but it's like finding, and for anyone out there who wants to better themselves, it's like I have this one saying that I kind of live and die by, and it's like, if you want to soar with the eagles, don't surround yourself by turkeys. Yeah. It's like, go and work for the best, go and get owned by someone, go above and beyond. No one, you know, got rich or became the next big thing by doing 38 hours a week. And, you know, got to go challenge yourself. And does it get hard? Fuck yeah, it does. I love stress. I think stress is a really great thing. I like good stress, but when I'm not stressing, I feel like I'm a loser and I haven't got anything on. So I think you always want to continuously push yourself with that. But more like, okay, I just turned 40 and
stop. You're not allowed to say that.
You can't do.
You're not allowed to say that.
Sorry. Isn't that wild?
Jesus.
Isn't that wild?
No.
So I think you surround yourself. I started realizing you got to surround yourself by people who are the best at what you're practicing as well. You can't do everything yourself. As much as in my 20s and 30s, I try to do everything myself. You get to the stage where you want to surround yourself by amazing people, and you learn so much more.
One of my teachers, just last year, he said, whatever you want to become or do, you have to surround yourself with those people. And he put it to you this way: if you want to be a millionaire, you should be hanging around with 5. If you hang around with 5 millionaires, you'll be the 6th. So you're not going to be a millionaire if you're not hanging around with millionaires. And I don't want to make this about money, but it's the same thing applies for creativity, for artistry, for entrepreneurship,
success,
etc. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, hang around with successful entrepreneurs, and they'll tell you what you're doing right and wrong.
Totally. It's great because if you show an interest, people will share. And I think I found that with my career a little bit when I was fresh and young. People would share with you. If you showed enough keenness to be around to help them out, to be the bad smell, and not get in the way and, listen, take things on, sponge things in. You don't know everything. Like no way in the world. So I think if you can do that, people will share with you until you start beating them or becoming better than them. They stop telling you then, but at the time, they're very happy to build you because they don't think you're going to be able to come for them.
Yeah, if you're not seen as competition at the time.
No, definitely not. After a while, they start refusing your phone calls, and you're like, okay, cool. When you find new mentors, Jules.
Well, it's funny, though, that, like you said, and you just used the word mentor, is that, is mentorship first of all, I always have to qualify people. Most people don't understand. I used to say that Trevor Sorby was my mentor, but he wouldn't have recognized me if he was walking down the street. But so he can't be your mentor. Mentors have to touch you and shape you and give you ideas and so on. But I think to get a mentor, everybody says you need a mentor. But the interesting thing is all you have to do is bloody ask. Is know somebody, ask them. They will tell you stuff.
Totally. In this day and age, you got this little thing in your pocket, right? I feel like I talk to everyone. I quite like people, and I'll message everyone back who messages me or comments, or I'm not untouchable. I don't lock people out. I think that's from my point of view. But the same thing, if I ever want to get in contact with someone, it's pretty easy to shoot someone a DM and just go, "Hey, love what you do. Can I buy you a coffee? Can we kind of come and hang out in your next shoot? Can I, whatever it is. And if I don't respond, just keep on messaging. They'll get the hint. Sometimes they'll
or somebody else will
let you in.
Yeah,
100%.
So it's 100%. And that's what I think is so missing in our industry is number one is availability. And I'm not sure because what I've always and I when I came to do that show in a Hair Expo I was scared shitless going in there because I knew of the reputation of the Aussie people, and because they're Aussie hairdressers in my mind are probably some of the most creative, innovative stylists that I know, and I say that. Do you think that it's maybe because we're never isolated in nowadays because of the phone and everything that's going on, but do you think that it started off that you guys were so isolated that you developed your own craft and you developed your own horizon of where everybody had to live up to?
I won't lie. I guess growing up with it, you didn't notice that as much as, more different. This day and age, look, I see what's happening on a runway in Paris gets out to everyone within minutes. But back in the day, like even to watch Dad, he was the first ever Aussie hairdresser to educate or present or do a show overseas. Like for me, I do a show every 2 or 3 months overseas now. It's not a big deal because of the way you organize it. But back in the day, phone calls, fax, there's no emails, there's no text messages, there's no photos or videos getting sent through. 100%. I think we're isolated. We did our own thing because that's what we knew. And Aussies are pretty hardworking. I think over here, there's lots of slackers over here too. But the guys who want to make a name for themselves, we're not America. We're not the UK. Yeah. Like we're still new at it, and we're so far away from everything that to get your name out there, you almost have to go twice as hard. Because no one really gives a shit. Oh yeah, whatever they're doing down in Australia, good on you, mate. Riding the kangaroo to work. This stuff still gets, questioned to me all the time when I travel. It's great, and I'm like, a little bit different to that, but go figure. It was. I do. I watched. I also watched the pre-assessors to me do and work their ass off to get their name out there too. So I think that's monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah. What's interesting when I watch the evolution of Tognini's is that everybody goes by Benni because Benni was always he's the key figure there, but your mother is creative as hell as well. I mean, she's one of the most unbelievable makeup artists that I know. So she is. Mate, I mean, but
the fact that
she is though, isn't she? She is truly creative. And when I look at,
she's very humble though, Chris.
Oh yeah. Well, you
speak to her. Mum's wing girl for Dad, and always has been. Why did you get into makeup? Was makeup something you wanted to do? She goes, no, I got into makeup so I could get an extra ticket, so we'd go over to Canada every year and hang out with you, so I could do makeup for the shoots and the shows. And Mum used to make the clothes, do the makeup, do the model preps. She's incredible. She's still like that today. She's the unsung hero of our business. Yeah. And every good key person out there needs a wing person for him as well. And I've got a wife exactly the same.
That's
She's
amazing.
Just in the background supporting and keeping those wheels spinning so you can keep on doing what keep on fighting the good fight out the front, which is great. Hey, going back really quickly, you mentioned that you were nervous on stage in Sydney at Hair Expo. Didn't notice. Like, I love presenting and I love education. And you are literally the greatest presenter I've seen on stage. You're funny as a fiddle, mate. But I learned a lot from you watching you present because you just it's polished, but with that ounce of you're so familiar to people, and the way you talk to people, you don't make people feel like dickheads or they don't know anything. You connect so well, if it's on a stage or in a classroom setting. But I did not notice that you were nervous. I was like, Chris is good. Chris is really good, Dad. It's probably the first time I actually saw you present.
Well, hopefully I present better than I skied. So
I hope so.
But the reason why I was scared there is because your dad told me that people underestimated the Aussie shows. and I heard that a very well-known cutting company had the offer to go over there, and they sent their B team in, and they got booed off the stage. And I went, oh my God, they're the people that I learned from, and they're booing them off the stage. What the hell are they going to do to me? So no, it was, but I had to say, I must say, just to end that one, because this is about you. If I ever was going to quit on a show, I mean, that was the show that I was going to end on, and you just said, okay, that was awesome. I'm out. And that was the last show. That was one of the shows that I said, if you ever quit on a show, that would have been the one. That, and I went to get on an elevator, and they opened up the door, and your father had cut my hair, and he went, oh, I know you. You're that Benni Tognini guy. And I went, yes, I am. Thank you very much.
You're like,
yeah, that was way better than New York Chris Baran. But listen, back to you, and again, I want to just go on that family part as well, because it was your dad was always the face. Tracy was always there with the incredible stuff that she had to offer, and then she was also kind of the financial side on the back side of the company when it was the two of them. But now it's kind of shifted down, up the hill, down the hill, whatever that would be. It's you being the face. And Christian, your brother, is actually the finance side. And I want to know just how's that, because you guys I remember as kids you used to fight, but now the two of you, how did that all take place? Does it preordained? What?
Like, it's hard. Our parents are young. Like, there's 20 years apart from our parents and us. So I think when we got into the business, fairly young. I think I've been in the business now for 16, and Christian's probably been there for about 18 or 19 years. It's a long time. So we got into it, mid-20s, both of us about mid-20s. You're there a long time before they handed the reins over, or, let us kind of take control, purely because they were still so young. And they weren't ready to give it up. They were still chasing. They were still building. About 3 years ago, just before all this turmoil with the world and COVID happened, we approached them and said, all right, this is how it's going to be. We really need to sink our teeth into something. We're going to open up another salon if you guys aren't ready to sell to us yet. And they were like, all right. And we're like, we're going to do this as a little venture for ourselves. We'll still work with the main salon, Tognini, but we opened up a side project. And through that, we learned heaps. It's been amazing. It's been a great little success. But by the end, once we put that to market, I think Mum and Dad realised that we're probably ready. And they were like, okay, I think the time is now. As of tomorrow, you guys are the new owners. We'll work on a plan to get us out. But at the same time, both of them said, can I have a job? And we're like, yeah, of course you can have a job. You're fabric here. But they really did hand over the reins pretty much overnight. And they said, okay, well, you're now in charge, so we're going to go by your direction. And 100%, they're your parents as well as your ex-bosses, I guess. So they're still going to throw in what they feel is necessary. But I've got a brother who, in the business, right, and he's been doing a bit more stuff on stage, and he definitely, I like to push him out there a bit more. I think he's actually bloody incredible. And again, another unsung hero who's like the glue who holds it all together while I go out and gallivant. He keeps everything ticking over and making sure that, things are making money and things are still there and people still want to work for us. But it's very much like a mum and dad relationship. And then me and Christian, like, we don't fight because we're different people. We're different humans. And we do this thing where, sure, there's crossover, but when it's anything creative, Christian's like, yeah, great idea, JT. I love it. And when it's anything financial, I'm like, KT, I'm on board with you. Whatever you need me to do, I'm in. Like, I think we look at that black and white business a little bit, and we try not to tread on each other's toes, but offer support as well for each other. And it's worked out really good because, well, one, it's family, and for us, blood's thicker than water.
Well,
we're a bit,
and the point is, you have to have a bit more common sense when you're dealing with family, because it's family, and you can have a business partner if it goes all south. Then you may have lost a friend, may have lost a business partner, but you sure as hell don't want to lose family,
No way in the world. And we're tight. Like, we're one of the tighter families that you ever see. We still hang out with each other. This is like Mum, I see it pretty much, 4 or 5 days a week. And she'll still come to me at the end of the week going, I never see you. I never see you. And I'm like, I see you every day. She's not here. I want to see you outside of work. So we'd still want to hang out with each other. But I don't know. Maybe I think of that as normal, but I know not every family's normal. You've got, your family around you too. It's the same kind of thing. But I love it. It's the best. And they're the only people in your life that can tell you exactly what sometimes you need to hear. And a fight will only ever last about 3 minutes in our family before we're like, all right, over it, move on.
Yeah, that's
not
good.
worth it.
Common sense. So I want to shift this back because we've talked a lot about the family. We talked a lot about that. I want to talk, and I want to jump into more to what you're doing right now, because it's like every time that I turn around, I see you. You're in America, and you're over in Europe somewhere, or you're wherever the hell. How's the travel going for you? Like what the amount of places that you get pulled into is phenomenal. So
honestly, it's like I always loved travel, Chris. I think as a kid, I used to do a lot of it. So I've kind of. The only downside of travel is being away from your business, but being mostly away from your wife and your 2 kids. That's like probably the trickiest thing. I absolutely love being a dad and love being at home. And when I'm in Brisbane, I'm pretty much the most boring person alive because I spend a lot of time or free time with them. And I try not to be too selfish with my time in Brisbane, out of shape because I give up gym to hang out with the kids and stuff. But when I'm overseas, mate, spontaneity is my favorite thing that I felt like I lost a little bit with having kids. So it goes back into that world again where I'm like, okay, if I'm away for a block, the rules are you got me for 2 weeks. I want to work every single day that I'm away. And I want to make sure that every bit of free time we're doing something good. If it's sneaking in a cheeky snowboarding session while working in Denver in the afternoon, or going out for dinners, or networking is my life, and I absolutely love it. And I feel like networking is the reason why I'm probably where I'm at with a lot of things. I talk underwater, but I also just love it. I just love hair. I love people. I love working and seeing how we can work together. And it means that I bite off more and more projects all the time and always have things on the side. And I probably need to start directing a bit more focus on certain things. But the travel stuff I love it. I honestly do. And a lot of people hate flying. It gives me a sense of adventure and excitement. The companies I'm doing work with, they're great. They 100% I get looked after, and that's fantastic. But again, they go above and beyond, and I also do the same for them. Every gig I do, I feel like I've never done a bad gig in my life. If you put my name to something, I'm 120% in there going as hard as I can. So the travel thing, I don't get jet lagged. A couple of things in my life that I don't get. I don't get jet lagged. I don't get hangovers. But I don't like to take days off when I land. I like to hit the ground running. Like, I'd rather walk straight off the plane and into prep. Keeps me going. Same with hangovers. I like to not sober up when I'm away. So
there's the trick.
No.
Well, but you know what? You and I I don't get hangovers either. I might feel a little tired, but I don't get hangovers. Like, I've seen some people that are just, I don't know, maybe it's just that there's still too much alcohol in my blood system or whatever. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
But I also understand there was a chef that you, how would I put it, wanted to idolize, or said you wanted to be like, or
There's a few things on my bucket list I haven't done yet. There's the guy called Jamie Oliver, which I'm sure the Americans know him. He's an English chef, and I love food. Before I actually did hairdressing, I weighed up going in to be a chef. Really? And I was like, I could do chefing. And my uncle, Benni, my dad's brother, he owns restaurants, and I actually hit them both up when I came back, going, I'm poor, I need a job. And I said, I'm thinking about being a chef. He goes, oh, don't be a chef. I go, why? He goes, mate, you're overworked, you do split shifts, you're never home, you turn bloody fat, you never want to cook for yourself. McDonald's becomes your favorite meal because it's easy, and the last thing you want to do when you get home is get in the kitchen. And I was like, yeah, he really sold it to me. He goes, go and be a hairdresser for your dad. trust me, you'll be better at that. And then just enjoy cooking on the weekends. So my other favorite thing to do in the world is cook. I absolutely love cooking. But this one chef, Jamie Oliver, it would have been easy 20 years ago. Even maybe a little bit more, straight out of school. And when he first started, he was a young guy, but and it comes back to the education side of things. The way he educates on food and the way he looks at it made me look at it going, one, this is super fun. Two, you make it look easy, but you dumb it down. It's not about perfection. It's about finding your own vibe. He's always about rustic food and flavor. And when I teach as well, I'm like, okay, if you're in to teach for one day, it's really tricky to make someone bloody amazing in one day. But what you need to do is try to connect with them in a certain level so they start understanding what they're doing and how they can start honing their skills. And the way he spoke to people just resonated with me a lot. Like spending time with people and getting them to understand. And if it's in layman's terms, it's in layman's terms. I think a lot of the people maybe before me in education were very structured and very set into a certain way. And I got trained this way, and this is how you do it. And you do it my way or the highway, where I am completely different. I'm like, there's nothing that you do is wrong. I just want you to understand why you're doing it. Or by doing that, what does it do?
What's the consequence?
Nothing wrong. You can cut, if you want to cut, if you want to cut hair with a broken bottle and a piece of glass, as long as that your end result, you want the hair to look absolutely trashed and broken up, and you want it to look like you had your hair cut by a broken bottle, fantastic. That's the exact tool and technique you should be using, as long as you're elevating and distributing 100%. And I try to get people to feel safe in their flavor. And I think that's what Jamie did for me. I just was like, oh my God, I'm a rubbish cook, but it made me feel like I was doing better. And to this day, I still follow him. He's one person I'd love to cut his hair before I die. Maybe I should reach out to him on Instagram with a few cheeky DMs, might get me closer. But
you know, it's interesting.
Yeah, there you go.
I love what you were saying there, because we did a podcast with DJ Muldoon the other day, and he said what the way that he operates is what I want to do when I go into a class. I just want to make somebody feel more confident, and I think that's what you're talking about, and I think that's the way you impact people and make them, you transform them. Or you give them the ability to transform just by making them feel confident in what they do and appreciate it. I think that's...
Or enjoy it. Like I think, like DJ's great. We do a bit of work together now. He's just joined over with Evo, so he's coming out to Australia early next year. But again, he makes things approachable. Makes you feel like you can do things as well. But just getting understanding, like cutting. I'm a cutter. Like, I go into most classes and go, who's shit scared of cutting? And I get about 90% of hands up at the moment. Everyone's into balayage and blow drying and mermaid waves, and no one likes cutting. It's not so much, a lot of them go, I hate cutting. And I go, you know why you hate it? And they're like, why? I'm like, you're shit at it. Everyone hates things they're shit at. And they're like, right. I go, okay, today my job is, I want you to take away at least one thing that you can take back to the salon. But my job is to make you feel like you don't hate it, but you feel like you can build enough confidence to start loving it again. And sometimes at the end of the day, when you're just doing a bit of feedback around the room going, what have you taken? What's that one thing you're taking away? And a lot of them go, oh, I actually realize that cutting's not so shit. I actually realize, yes, I'll shit it, but I'm starting to understand it, but I'm starting to enjoy it more again as well. And hairdressing, I don't know. Like if you want to become a millionaire, there's better industries to go into than hairdressing, right? You do hairdressing, and most people sit in the room, especially in Australia. We don't get tipped in Australia, so it's not a thing where you can make more money by being nicer to someone. You make more money by doing more clients and working harder. And you speak to people and you're like, why did you become a hairdresser? Like, did you want to sell shampoo? Does that excite you? And they're like, no, because it's cool and it's fun. And I'm like, then make sure you're having fun with it. Like, you got to start enjoying what you do. You only live once. Like, you have all the options in the world to do something that you love. You can make money on things you love. You just have to make sure people realize that, yes, a bit of hard work makes your job more fun down the track. Yeah, it's so true. This episode is sponsored by the Salon Associate Accelerator from trainersplaybook.com. Are you struggling with the time and cost of associate training? Do you feel like your salon is running you? We'll get your associates on the floor, all with 90% less time from you
so you can get back to building your business. Get them world-class design, finishing, color, and client care skills they'll use every day for the rest of their career while you focus on realizing your vision. Go to trainersplaybook.com and get the Salon Associate Accelerator. And now, back to the show. So now, I mean, I guess I know you well enough, and I would kind of, if I had used the R word for you, a bit of a rebel. I don't think you disagree with me on that.
No. I get fucking bored, Chris, all the time. And I think our industry is great, and there's been lots of things that people have done. Like, I know when I do a collection, and I would even show Benni, I go, what about this image? And he's like, yeah, it's been done back in 83. They did this and da-da-da-da. Something's always been done. And I think everything's just a creation of what was there before you a little bit. But I think for me, it's for your attitude a bit.
In what way?
Look, I like rebel, cool. I accept everyone. I don't burn bridges ever. It's part of my growing up. I watched Dad. Being humble is probably another thing that I've learned a lot from my father about going, you can sit on top of the hill and tell people how good you are, but I'd actually rather show them. In Australia, there's this thing called tall poppy syndrome. No one likes someone who talks about themselves in Australia. Like, to the detriment of people will stop following you or stop coming to your things or start bad-mouthing you. So anything you do in Australia to get big, you have to show people how good you are and earn it. It doesn't matter if you're in America and you want to tell people how good you are. If that gets back to Australia, people are like, no, mate, you're out. So I'm a big prover on that front. But the rebellious thing is, like, how do you make noise in the industry with so many rebels? Like, how? And I think a lot of people out there who are being rebels are so focusing on the way they look and the way they talk, but maybe their skill set needs a bit of work on it as well. So I guess I worked a lot on my skill set and to try to find my voice into what I believed as well. Again, like I said, I don't shut anything down from anyone does. I think it's always good learning curve to see what people are doing and how they're doing it. My question on everything is why. But I like to do things with a smile on my face and make a bit of noise and have a bit of fun and do things a little bit differently. A bit like Dad, where he used to look at hair differently. I probably have started getting a bit more excited about looking at business a little bit differently as well, and trying to question things on businesses and how they do things and why they do things. And then I think everything I do, if it's working for someone or doing my own thing, I like to be me. I don't want to be a number. I don't like doing formats that a company's like, you have to do this or you have to wear that. It's not my vibe. I'm like, you're employing Jules for Jules. Don't change me. But I'll do a better job putting my best foot forward. And I believe in anyone who I work with. One, I want to make sure I believe in what they do, but also, like, more so, I always say to guys, like, if the audience or the people buy me, they'll buy whatever I use. To me, making sure that you make noise in the right way and you do things different in the right way. I think the brands have always been really good with me being a little bit rebellious in the way I do things, because in the end of the day, they're buying into the person who's their front man or who's on stage for them. Flying their little freak flag. Yeah,
but it's a sad thing. Is the thing you got to learn if you're going to work for a company or be an ambassador or be something. If there's no sales, there's no money to buy the stage for you to stand on. So
totally.
And it's interesting. It's funny. I was just talking to somebody just a little bit back, and we were talking about our industry and finance and how a lot. And I'm not sure exactly what it's like in Australia, but I know in America, a lot of hairdressers. I'm not saying all. I don't want to get letters from people that are listening or watching right now, but a lot
hate mail.
Little pipe bombs. But no, I don't care to say that anymore. But they're people are almost afraid to sell. They're afraid to recommend. Pick your word.
Yeah.
When I think that the people that are truly successful at what they do are great at sales. You can sell yourself. You can sell. You can sell by just saying, I love this product. I love this thing. I love this stage. I love cutting hair like this. And they buy in because of that, as opposed to, oh, well, I know you don't need this, but I'm going to sell it to you anyway,
No. And there's sales in it. I used to always say I'm not a very good salesman, and people go, whatever, Jules, you're the best. And I was like, I don't. And they're like, yeah, but you do education. You do sales through education. Yeah. You teach people how to use something and how not to be able to live without it. And I was like, yeah, but I believe in it. And they're like, that's why you're so good at sales, because you're not selling shit you don't like. And if you don't like it, you probably don't use it. And I was like, no, I don't. And I do. I realized that, if there's something I feel like you need in your kit, or you should be using in your hair, or, you need an extra service in the salon, I'm big, and they don't leave without doing it. But I'm only doing it because I feel like I'm recommending it to you because it's a need, not a want, I guess. But it made me realize. But then also, I'm very happy to sell myself. Not in a lady of the night type of way, but up to you guys. But yeah, selling yourself, I think it's just them making sure that I'm very fortunate enough to be able to work with brands that I like, rather than having to. And look, I've done it in the past where I've worked with brands that weren't quite me. I think I've shrugged all that off now, and now everything that I do or work or put my name in front of is things that I like and people I like working with, and products or whatnot, as I believe in, which has been huge for me as well. Because when you're young, you sell out in a heartbeat. You're like, what? You want to put my name on something? This is awesome. I've done it. It's not lie.
It's funny. There's a very, very a huge name in our industry that was doing a show in America, and he was working on a head of hair, and all of a sudden the people that were in charge of the show came out on stage, and they started taking all the product off the stage. And they said, and he looked at them and he went, why are you taking that product away? I need that. He said, well, then tell them that. So, it's just like I say to anything, when you're taught, if you're in the salon and you love what the product you do and you love what they have and you have it for sale, tell them about it. I think our industry is so worried about diversion. And yes, is it a problem? Sure. But look at if you're in the salon and you like the product and you had to use it to get their hair to do that, then just tell them about it. That's all it is. That's called a sale.
Totally. I know. We have a bit of issues with people talking about diversion and they can buy it online and blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, you've got them in your seat for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Like, if you can't get a message across to them in the chair,
well, don't complain.
Then there's a pretty good chance that they're on the same day they get their hair done. There's a huge percentage. It's in Australia. It's like 70% of people will buy product. If it's not from you, they'll go and buy product somewhere else for their hair on the day they have their hair done. It's like, then
do your damn job, and they won't. Then the diversion's not necessary.
Totally. Yeah, don't get angry at the sales rep. I believe in all that.
Oh, love it. So,
totally.
What I want to go a little bit deeper here. Because first of all, I just found out just the other day. Thanks for telling me that you started up. You have a product that you just started up for men with. What is it? Joe Blow is what? Tell me. By the way, I love the name.
Joe Blow's. No, it's cool. Well, okay. So I'll give you the concept and I'll give you the reason behind it. But Joe Blow, the idea around it was that as I was starting to get older, I started noticing my hairline starting to go back a bit, and I started shitting myself. And then I looked at my brother, and I looked at our mate who was doing a lot about branding for our salons at the time, and I was like, "What's going on? What do you guys do? Are you guys using anything?" And one of the boys was like, "Oh, I use this shampoo from here and this spray from there, and I take tablets from this doctor over there." And I tried to line it all up, and I was like, all right, you're a bit bolder than me, so you've already been doing this for longer than I have, but can you give me some? Like, let me have a little play. And I was having a play, and I was like, what is this shit? Is this snake oil? Anyway, he goes, mate, it works. So we kind of got a bit of researching and worked with a local chemist in our hometown, and she does like compounding chemist, so she makes all her own pills and tablets and drugs. And she had actually done all the formulas for the biggest hair loss company in Australia. And ideally we trialed a bunch of stuff, and I came back going, okay, yes, if you say it works, it's great, but consistency is wrong. It makes your hair oily. It stinks. It stains your pillows. It does this. It does that. So we kind of went on down the track of trying to change it to make it more easier for blokes to understand, to try to, and I guess it's more preventative than anything. It's like I went in to learn a lot more about how come hair leaves, and at what case is it too late to be able to get it back again. And this is a preventative. So you can either use it before you start losing your hair, and you can have it in different stages, or you can go through it once you've recently lost, before your collagen closes up all those holes in your hair, on your head, before the hair can't get back out again and suffocates it all. You can get onto that way. And I find that all it is then it's a learning procedure that I watch my wife, put on, 14 different, skincare creams and hair masks and all the rest of the beauty services. And from a guy's point of view, we're lucky to have a shave these days. We get a haircut, once in a blue moon. We might put a face moisturizer on if you're a pretty boy. That's like, boys don't do anything. So this is a way of trying to get guys to understand that, mate, it's not too late. You can get your hair back or maintain what you've currently got. We obviously started trialing it, and it killed it. So we came up with the name Joe Blow, based around it's for every Joe Blow. It's not for any. It's not just for the pretty boys who care about themselves. It's for everyone. It's for something that it's just like, why can't we? Girls are using Botox to prevent wrinkles. So are guys, I guess. But why can't guys use preventative shampoos and conditioner and treatments for their hair? So we launched online. We set up as a an online business in Australia as like almost a subscription model, which has been unreal. So we've been doing a bunch of look. Everything around it was great. All the branding was fantastic, but the whole campaign was based around like life's better with hair. So
that's just smart.
Get amongst it and learning how to build it into your routine.
And I love the line you had in there. The sooner you start, the sooner it will stop disappearing. I just went, that's awesome.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
No. So it's as easy as that. So it's been going great guns over in Australia, which is great. And it's making, I don't know. I go to Europe a lot these days, Chris, and the European men, they're so into themselves. I love it. They care about what they wear. They care about the way they look. They, spend money on skincare and making sure that they have the, right haircut or the right products to suit things. In Australia, like, guys are lucky to own their own shirt. You've got this level where you've got a few guys who care, and again, going back to this tall poppy thing, as soon as someone starts caring too much, they end up, people start
dragging you down,
giving them a little bit of lip. Yeah, 100%. But it's starting to change. Definitely in the bigger capital cities, it's definitely starting. Like a lot more iron shirts happening in Australia at the moment, which is nice. And also, the picture's almost a little bit at guys, but a lot more at the wives. And I think a lot more of the catch on it from the wives and girlfriends who are buying it for their partners to go, babe, you've got to use this, which I love. I think that's fantastic. So we tried pitching and marketing towards the men, and then we did a campaign pitching towards women for them, and that campaign almost did about the same as what it did with the men. Yeah.
That's which is fantastic. In America, that's pretty much what it is. Maybe not so much anymore, because I think it's shifting where the men are the men are changing, but it used to be, I'm saying 10 years ago, that women would buy the products for them, but they would always also buy the product for their husband. And that was that's who you directed your marketing towards. So, but it's, totally. I'm wishing you the best on that. Thank you. Yeah, no, that's good stuff.
No, we always have a bit of a crack at some new things that come and arise to the occasion. We're like, okay. And everything at the minute we're doing is all based around hair. I think I was mentioning to you earlier that I'm trying to take a bit more time off the salon floor. At the minute, we've got 2 salons and we've got about 30-odd staff. And these salons pump every day of the year. And everyone's on salaries in our salons, so everyone's on wages. And it just turns over. And I spent a lot of time working but also training our staff to make sure that everyone's getting to a certain level where we sit in our marketplace as well. We've been around for 35 odd years, so there is a bit of a higher benchmark for our team, really. So I'm backing off a little bit next year because I'm realizing our staff are bloody good, and they're possibly better than me in that salon situation, and spending a little bit more time trying to train the new guys coming through and spending a bit more one-on-one time with them. Because I think that's really important. I spend half my year traveling, training others, and I don't spend enough time training my own. So we're resetting that. I'm going to do a day a week in the salon, and then the rest of the time we've got a bunch of new projects that we want to sink our teeth into, and working with some really cool people on some things. We've got an eco towel company that we've been just about to launch, which is really, really cool. All these towels are made out of recycled plastic bottles.
No way. And they're absorbent?
Yeah, we've been trialing them in our... They're epic. Like, I don't know, different to a cotton towel, but absorbent. And then they also, yes, you still have to wash them, but they dry in 3 minutes.
Oh, really?
And they're like a black towel. Like, you remember when you just get those cotton black towels, you put them in your salon, and they become this, frayed, furry, light grey thing within a year. We've had them in for 3 years in the moment, and they don't stretch out of place. They're still as black as the day they came in. They've been amazing. So we're working on trying to get them out into the market a bit more as well. We've been having a bit of chat to a few people in Europe and a few people in the US too, which, just trying to work on price points. At the moment, by being greener, it does cost a little bit more on the upfront, but it's such a great story because it's saving you having to buy as many towels constantly as well. So we've been trialing that for the last 3 years in the salon, and I think we're ready. It's called the Terry towel, which is really cool. So there's a few little things like this and we've got a few other things that are probably a little bit hush-hush at the moment, but lots of fun little, bits and pieces within the world of hair that we just love, that you realize going, like the towel opportunity came up through Christian, and he was like, what about a towel? And I'm like, you know what? Every single salon in the whole world knows what a black salon towel is. Yeah, what a black salon towel is. It's not sexy, but can we make it sexy? Like, how can we change the way that looks?
But I think there's that thing, and that's the biggest thing that if I could pass on anything to people in our industry would be, it just would be the, what are you doing to make money while you sleep? Because, for everybody that's out there, you just got to remember that if you're working in a salon or doing whatever, you can make, you're earning based on your hours in the day. But what else can you do that while you're working or while you're sleeping or whatever earns you some money? And some people might say, well, investments or whatever, or investments could be just another thing that you side hustle of some sort that you have. Yeah,
totally. No, I looked at that a little while ago when I was educating about $200, 200 days a year, and realizing that you're just worth a day rate. And I'd leave these people, and they're like, when are you coming back? And I was like, damn, like, this is the point where I need to be able to sell something to them and leave them with something. So we created our own tool. We did tool belts.
I still have mine.
Like pouches. We call them the fanny pack. We launched these little hair collars as well, which are amazing. I can't cut hair without them now. We did our own combs, just little things to start leaving behind. I work with a really great scissor company over in Australia called Excellent Edges, and we do a lot of we do a lot of work with them about making sure that people have got the right kit, which tools are a huge thing for me now too. I love tools. And then we're just about to launch an online education platform called Educator, which we were shooting for yesterday. And that was the one other thing that I'm realizing, that I sometimes go to these towns where I don't know when I'm going to get back there. Yeah. So to be able to leave them with something, or something they can tune into was the next step. So over the last couple of years, we've been filming and working on this platform about trying to do it a little bit differently again, trying to put more personality into it, making it more familiar for people, pushing fun into education again. But how can we do that with an online setup? So we are getting close to launching. Wow. It'll be a subscription model, but really achievable and a really affordable thing to do. But working the minute we're launching cutting, and we're going through all your basics, and then we'll be adding more trend-based haircuts
as you go.
Monthly.
That's awesome. That's going to keep you busy, man.
And working with
it's going to keep you busy.
Yeah, well, look, I quite like doing it, but I found that I didn't have enough time to sit down, film, and edit with my. I've got a business partner on this as well who does all the filming and the editing, and his family are in the hair industry too. So he 100% gets it. Does a lot of filming for the hair industry, but we just get along like a house on fire, and he gets the best out of me. And I didn't realize, but he films everything. And when he cut all the initial stuff together, there's all these bloopers of me just losing. And it's great because it makes it look. He's added them into the videos. He's like, I haven't cut these out, by the way. I've actually heroed them a little bit because I wanted people to realize that it isn't just that easy. Like, even good people fuck up. And it's actually hilarious, and I'm really cool with it because I think it makes it a bit more human as well, rather than so polished.
No, it's true. I think that they actually see you in a better light if they see you messing up too. So
they get to know the real you as opposed to
it's the real you. The real you is doing the things that they do in exactly the same way, saying the same things that they do. All they do now is just going, oh, you mean he's like me? Okay, well, yeah.
Oh my God, he fucks up too. Yeah,
damn straight.
Like, hell yeah.
Well, listen, bud, we're at our rapid fire round here, and for people listening, it's just quick answers, etc. So I'm going to read through a whole bunch here, and you just shoot away. Okay. What turns you on in the creative process?
I'm obsessed with branding and visuals. Ooh. Absolutely.
What stifles creativity for you?
Boredom.
An event. Oh, see, we talked a little bit about this, what it was like for me, but an event or a show that you loved that you did, first one that I know there's many, but first one that comes to mind.
I recently got paid to spend about 10 days on a cruise around the Mediterranean teaching on a boat, and the days kept getting cancelled because it was too rocky. So I ended up having the most amazing holiday and worked a couple of days, and we did this big launch in Ibiza, and it was fantastic. But it was a bit of a pinch myself moment where I was like, is this actually happening? How good's work?
I'm getting paid, right?
I'm getting paid. I'm still getting paid, even though I'm tanning, right?
Good job. Good job. Have another martini, please. A thing in life that you dislike the most?
Negativity and bad vibes. I hate it. Can't stand it. Like the word I can't, just hate it. Also hate the word hate.
I hate the word hate. Things in life that you love the most?
Family. The giddiness that you get by getting excited or getting under pressure and achieving and going, oh my God, all that hard work paid off to something, and you feel like a child again. I'm just obsessed with that feeling as well. You chase it. The same feeling as when you have your child and you meet your child for the first time. I'd happy to orphan 100 kids to get that same feeling again. It's amazing. Just a joke.
The most difficult time in your life?
A couple of years ago, during kind of the whole COVID-y thing, my wife got pretty sick and got pretty scary for us all. And it made me realize how good it is having such a strong partner with you as well, and how I was like, what am I going to do without you? Yeah. And she was like, if I die, what are you going to do? Will you remarry? I'm like, I can't do this shit by myself. She goes, what about a nanny? I'll go, yeah, but I'll fall in love with her too, because then she'll be looking after kids like you do, and it'll remind me of you. So, but it was tricky. It was really, anyway, she's doing really good now, and she's backfiring 100%, but she kept me on my toes.
Give her my love.
It made me realize I could stop everything and focus on one thing, and it made you realize what's actually important in life.
Give her my love, okay?
I will, bud.
A thing that you dislike most about our industry?
Egos get me big time. We talked a little bit about earning it before. Not cool if you got an ego if you're worth it. It's just the people that maybe aren't worth it yet, and respect. I think for the people who are before us. I think there's a lot of respect for people like yourselves and these so-called uncles and aunties that I've had in this industry. I think they've, as much as they might not be 22 anymore, they were 22 once upon a time, and they were absolute renegades as well. So I think there's lots to learn.
And what do you like most about our industry?
Playfulness, the fun. the fact that we all get to, have that really beautiful culture together. That's, still keeps you ticking.
I know this one. What's the proudest moment of your life?
There's so many, but from a personal point of view, having kids, it's so cool to be able to be called dad. From a work point of view, being able to do what I love every day with the people I love is just the best.
A living person that you'd like to, the living person that you'd like to, you admire the most?
I'm going to go back to the Jamie Oliver. Still a big fan. I think he's my one person I keep going back to going, you changed a lot for me, mate. So
and this might be the same person you wish you could meet.
Yeah, let's meet him too. What?
Here's one. Something people don't know about you.
I'm a world-class juggler.
What?
I own about 65 pairs of denim jeans. World class, out of control. I haven't got my juggling balls here, but next time if I'm on stage, you yell it out. I'll show you.
I'm there. I want to see that. Okay, a month off. Where would you go? What would you do?
A month off. I'm obsessed with snowboarding. In Australia, we don't get a lot of great snow. So I love surfing, and surfing would be my highlight. But lately, because the snow's a little bit harder to get to, I'm gonna pick snow. I've got a trip booked to Whistler to just re-chase the memories again, mate. So let's go a month there with great. And
like I said, I'm going to hook you up with my buddy there. He'll be able to take you. I'll give you all the stuff that you need.
Please.
What your greatest fear?
Being a loser, not succeeding. Not having anything to show for myself. I probably fear a bit still. I just said I turned 40 recently, and I feel like I haven't done it all yet, and I don't want to leave any stones unturned. So I just love to keep on going.
I don't see that happening with you, bud. Favorite curse word?
I don't swear, mate. I use fuck a lot. I apologise.
What's your favorite comfort food?
It's an Australian thing. It's an adjective
and
over
a verb.
here.
And a noun.
And a verb.
What's your favorite comfort food?
Everything. I'm a sucker for pasta. Every day of the week.
Favorite pasta? What's your favorite pasta?
Easy. I like orecchiette, which is like the little ear pasta. My favourite.
Love it.
My favourite.
If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
Maybe speed my metabolism up so I could just eat as much pasta as I humanly could.
When you figure that out, pass it over to me. Your most treasured possession?
Oh, geez. I don't know if I've got. I don't know if I'm looking around to see if I've got anything I actually love. Okay, ready? I got a necklace given to me recently by my mother, which I actually am obsessed with. And she got this for her 21st birthday from her grandmother. And she passed it to me. And she was like, they're pearls. And I was like, go and hook me up. I'm into it. And I absolutely love it. So maybe that.
I love it.
Chris. I probably my most treasured things are memories, I guess. I spend a lot of money on memories as opposed to things.
Something in the industry, I'd be interested in this one. Something in the industry that you haven't done so far, but you want to.
You know what? I feel like I haven't cracked America yet. As much as I spend a lot of time there, I would love to nothing else to go and do a huge show in the States and really actually be a part of it. I see these symposiums that happen with thousands of people, and I think that looks like the greatest fun. So I actually would really love to be able to crack the US market on a bigger level than I have.
If you had a do-over in your life, what would it be?
I don't regret anything. I feel like you learn from
one
things.
do-over. I mean, we got that. We all are who we are. But what's a do-over you would do?
Jeez. I rolled my car when I was 3 days into my having my license. I was surfing down a dirt road and thought I'd give fishtails a run for their money, and rolled my car with a few mates in it. Look, no one was hurt, but it definitely shook me up. It's probably a good thing that it shook me up, because it probably chilled me out a little bit. But I had to ring Christian and go, "Hey man, you know that car that we just got given for Christmas that we were supposed to share?" Yeah, well, it's on the side, mate. And he was like, "Oh, thanks, mate."
Yeah. Well, at least you got a brother that can come and help and get it towed and get it fixed. Okay, here's one thing.
In saying that, it was a stick shift, and he never got his stick license, so he couldn't drive it anyway. So
I've got one here for you that I really want to know. Okay, tomorrow, you couldn't do hair or do anything in our business that related to hair. What would you do?
I'd keep myself busy. I think I mentioned earlier, I love branding. I'd be very happy to sit as a creative director within this fashion world, but I would be just as happy to cook for a living and or be a landscaper and spend my days outside with nature and, planting plants and laying turf and doing a bit of a hard day's work and getting a few calluses on these, pretty little conditioned hands.
Okay, last one. If you had one wish for our industry, what would it be?
One wish for our industry. Look, deep down, we have a bit of an issue over in Australia with trying to get people to be excited by hairdressing. And I'd love nothing other than our industry to start taking pride a little bit in what they do, start charging the right amount for what we do. Everyone start appreciating hairdressers a little bit more and making it the industry that I probably came in as a kid watching it from the outside. I'd love for hairdressing to be what it was like in maybe the 80s and 90s, where it was borderline rock star.
Yeah,
bring that back.
I think it's about to shift, bud. I'm sensing a shift. I'm sensing a shift.
I totally am too. Value and for every hairdresser, just value yourself. You're so important. If you're putting effort into your skills and education and being better, charge for it. You know what? If you're a lawyer, you would do it.
Bloody hell.
Why not?
Jules, it feels like it was yesterday. And
it does, doesn't it?
It's a treasured moment for me that I see somebody, this 7 and 9-year-old kid that I saw running around and is just really making a mark on the world. So, Jules, just from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you and giving up your time and helping to share that with the world. So, love you, brother.
Thank you,
brother,
mate.
and,
I appreciate it.
All the best.
Love to have you over in Australia. I feel like I owe you. You let me sleep on the hallway of your house on a blow-up mattress in New York. So
you feel you owe me one.
My hallway is always open for an offer, mate.
Bring your own air bed.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
It was a pleasure, bro. My love to all the family, okay?
I will. Same with you, bud. Big love, mate.